Good evening, Lady here, and I want to welcome everyone to the very first installment of Late Night with Lady. This was a brainstorming idea that I had recently, and at the last minute, of course, I changed my topic, as I do with all my vlogs. So, Lady here, welcome everyone. Welcome to Late Night with Lady. I want to welcome all of my regular subscribers. I want to welcome all of my new subscribers. And of course, welcome all and any new viewers to tonight's live stream. Tonight, I thought we would tap into the topic of gaslighting. It wasn't my original discussion topic, and at the last minute, it hit me. We're going to talk about gaslighting. And I thought, why not discuss the narcissistic gaslighter and all of their creepy tactics that they use on people and how it affects their victims? And I want to say that something that I've noticed over the years is after the victim has accepted the abuse for so long, one of the things that I've seen is they learn how to play the victim in every situation, and then they also become the abuser in certain ways. I mean, if you're telling somebody that they are pretty much useless, that they're damaged, and you berate them in public and tell them they have no idea what they're talking about, that they're stupid, then over time, they begin to play the victim themselves every opportunity they get for attention. And then that also makes them somewhat of an abuser. So I want to welcome, it says I have one viewer so far this evening. And whomever you are, welcome. I'm just sitting here talking about gaslighting on both the abuser and the victim. As a spousal abuse survivor, I've been gaslighted on many occasions and told many things, and I've seen it done to many people. I was told I was mentally ill, that I needed help, that I was crazy, that I was cuckoo, that I had no idea who I was or what I was talking about. And, it's funny because I never bought into it. I just tried to remind myself each and every day that this person was abusive because my abuse was physical and it was emotional. It was mental, it was financial, it was verbal, it was everything. And yeah, gaslight was part of their fun little play game they like to play with me. And I could see over time how I personally would try and play the victim. And that makes things worse because the more you play the victim, the less people believe that you are being abused. And that is unfair to everyone around you, and it's unfair to yourself because you're losing opportunity to get free from your abuser. Also, the abuser, when they get away with the things that they're saying to you, they're going to try more painful, more harmful tactics on you and say worse things. When they tell you that you're imagining things and that you don't remember what they said and that's not what they said, you got to remember to be strong in your mind and know that they're full of shit. And what they say should not affect you in any way. Don't believe it. And they will try to make you think you are crazy and that you need psychological help. And they will tell you that you're the one that's lying and making everything up. And they won't have any way to back it up. But they will lie to you and tell you that you are the one that's lying and that you don't remember what was said. Welcome, whoever just arrived in the chat. It looks like I have 2 viewers now. Welcome. Welcome to Late Night with Lady. I'm just talking about gaslighting, and I'm welcoming anyone to join in the chat this evening if you want to join in. I was just talking about how your narcissistic gaslighter will often tell you that you're the one that is lying and that you just don't remember what was said because they did not say that. When in your deep down, you know that exactly what they said, but they will continue to make you feel and think that you're absolutely crazy, you're losing your mind, and they might try to convince you need mental help when you really don't, when they're the ones that need mental help. Earlier, I was discussing how the victim of gaslighting abuse will sometimes often begin to play the victim every chance they get, which makes them also somewhat of an abuser themselves, because now they're playing the victim every chance they get. Now, with that being said, they will start to turn around, and every time something goes wrong, the victim of gaslighting may also blame their abuser for something that may also be their fault. And it becomes like a vicious circle of abuse on each other. And trust me, it does happen. The abuser will see things that's happening and has no control, may feel like they have no control over it because they're being gaslighted and they think they have no control over the situation when they actually have a lot of control and choices. And so then they turn around and they try to blame the abuser for something that they also could have taken care of easily. And it becomes a vicious and painful cycle between the gaslighter and the victim. Gaslighting is very manipulative, and a narcissist can become a professional at it, at blaming their victim and telling their victim that they don't remember anything that perhaps, they're a loser, but it's not their fault. It's a way for the gaslighter to deflect on what they may have said or done that they really don't want to take, responsibility for. To me, I feel like gaslighters are lazy MFers. They also, here's something for you, and this is going to really grind some people's gears and piss a couple of people off, but this is what I see, and this is how I see it. If you go to a church, and this church and your preacher is telling you that the man is the control of the household and he must control his wife, and his wife must be fully and completely submissive to the husband, no matter what his choices are or what decisions he makes. And then the husband chooses whatever way possible to control his spouse. That, my friends, is gaslighting. And it is dirty and nasty. You should never, ever break down and tear down your spouse in public and tell them they are stupid and they are useless because you feel like you are supposed to have control of your spouse, because that's what your pastor is teaching. That is gaslighting. And that is a form of abuse. If your pastor is teaching these things in your church, you need to get out. Your spouse should never be using a form of gaslighting as a way to control a spouse. A relationship is 50-50, and neither one of you should be saying controlling, hurtful, narcissistic things because you are supposed to control the household. It does not work that way. It does not. And if you've been taught to call your wife a Jezebel at any given moment, that is gaslighting, and that is a form of verbal and psychological abuse, and that is wrong. And that should never, ever happen. Gaslighting is just a lazy person's way to control a conversation and control another person, and it is downright horrible. Also, a narcissistic gaslighter, while in a confrontation or argument with a spouse, will tell them, and this is the reason why no one else likes you. Yep, they'll tell you in the heat of an argument that you are the reason that no one likes you and that's why you have no friends. When in actuality, he could be part of the problem too. When a gaslighter starts bringing other people into the abuse, into the equation, and using others to hurt you, that is just a painful and evil thing to do, because then you begin to question yourself and how you interact with others. And you may go to others and ask them questions that may seem very strange, and then they really may not wish to speak to you ever again. I feel like also gaslighters would love to hold your past over your head. And every time there's an argument, within minutes, the gaslighter will bring up your past. Why not? Let me bring up something that happened a gazillion years ago. They haven't done it in a long time, but it's just painful, and I'm going to use it. And that's what your gaslighter will do. Drag you through the past one more time to hurt you. And of course, that is a form of abuse. This isn't really gaslighting, but I thought this would also be interesting to discuss is when, I guess it could be part of gaslighting, your spouse tells you that you're crazy, you're losing your mind, you can't keep up with things, and then your spouse proceeds to hide your personal belongings where you can't find them, and then proceeds to tell you you're crazy, you don't know what you're talking about. You might be looking for your car keys, your wallet, your purse, your shoes. You may be looking for everyday things in the house, and you can't find them. And then your gaslighting, abusive spouse will tell you you're crazy, you're losing your mind, you don't know what you're talking about, you just need to backtrack, you weren't paying attention at all. You just weren't paying attention to what you were doing when you laid them down. Yeah, I've had that done to me. I've had that done to me on many occasions. And it was painful, and it was sad, it was depressing. And then within 3 or 4 days, a week, there's my keys sitting on the counter or on the kitchen table. And of course, the abusive spouse says, they were right in front of your face. See, you're so stupid. You're just losing your mind. Maybe you should go see a shrink. Maybe you need some help. Maybe you need to go see a doctor. You know what gaslighting leads to in the victim? And it's where I ended up. Clinical depression. I was diagnosed with severe clinical depression even after I fought inside my mind, tried to keep a straight head and fight in my mind against my abuser. But I was also physically abused, financially abused, mentally abused, and it all just added up. But yes, the gaslighting spouse will tell you you're losing your mind. You don't know what you're talking about. Here's another one for you. Take meat out of the freezer to thaw for dinner. Now, this is going to be on a day when your spouse is home. You take it out. You look at the clock. That way you know when that meat will be good and thawed for dinner. You come back in time to cook, and that meat's not there. And you look around, and you know you took that meat out of the freezer because you checked the clock to see what time you took it out. And you ask your spouse, have you seen that pound of ground turkey or that pound of hamburger meat you set out on the counter to thaw? No, you're losing your mind again. You forgot what you did. You weren't paying attention. You probably didn't even take it out of the freezer. And you go and you look in the freezer, and there's that pound of meat. Now, I will say a couple of times that meat was still partially thawed from when they put it back in there. And you better watch out what you say, because I confronted him once. And I told him, this meat is partially thawed. It got put back in the freezer, and it wasn't me. And he might say, well, you don't know what you're talking about. You must have put it back in the freezer. We're not paying attention. I didn't touch it. Or, no, the freezer door must have got left open. You need to pay attention to what you're doing. You're going to run the electric bill up. The other thing you need to be careful of, you could be blamed for high electric bills, high gas bills, high cell phone bills, and whatever. And you could have a really high cell phone bill for the month, and then your gaslighting significant other or spouse might accuse you of cheating, and that's why you have a really high cell phone bill. No, honey, it don't work that way. Narcissists are pros at gaslighting, and they know all the tricks. I mean, sometimes they say things and then you'll remind them, no, you didn't say that. You said such and such. And then they will tell you, oh, honey, you're forgetting again. You're getting so forgetful. That's not what I said. And they try to make you think that now you're getting dementia, you're getting forgetful. And it's very long and painful. It's a long and very painful life if you don't plan on getting out and getting away from a gaslighter. And some gaslighters do it slow and merciless over time to where you don't pay attention to what they're doing, and they drag you down slower and slower and slower. They just drag you down. And like I said, I start to see the victim of gaslighting turn around and constantly play the victim for everything. And then they do look like they're going nuts, because in their head now, they're scared. So they play the victim over every little thing. And they begin to become over dramatic about every little thing that happens. And then when someone tries to help them, they become over dramatic, and then they try to say that people are calling them crazy and things like that, when it's not you that's trying to help them that's calling them crazy. It's their gaslighting spouse that's telling them they're useless, they're crazy, they don't know what they're talking about, and they want to turn around and say it about their friends and the people that care about them. And they become very confused. Hello, welcome to my new viewers. Welcome to Late Night with Lady. I'm just talking about gaslighting this evening. You're welcome to watch and listen. You're welcome to join in the live chat if you like, or you can come back at a later time and watch it as a vlog. It's whatever you feel like doing. I was talking about victims of gaslighters. For the person who just entered the room, I was talking about how the victim of gaslighters, I've seen them later on in life start to play the victim over every little thing, and you try to help them and tell them that they're playing the victim too much, and then they turn around and say that their friend or their loved one is calling them crazy or insane, when it's not the friend or the relative, it's actually the gaslighting spouse or the gaslighting boyfriend or the gaslighting significant other that's been gaslighting them, calling them crazy and calling them nuts. This was just a test and a first installment of Late Night with Lady. I will be doing this it's only on the weekends, and it will be Friday nights or Saturday nights. And there will be a different topic each week that we can discuss together. And after 4 installments of Late Night with Lady, it depends on how much feedback I get, how many viewers I get, whether or not I continue the series. And tonight was originally going to be about human trafficking, and I think I want to save that for next week's installment. I wanted to keep it a little simpler tonight, so I went ahead and did gaslighting and gaslighters. I wanted to wait and see if I could get a lot more viewers before I started doing things like human trafficking and things of that nature. So we were talking about gaslighters. I feel like gaslighters have other tricks that they pull, and not just verbal. I mean, it starts with the verbal, but then they want to take it further. I'm going to tell you a story about my ex and what he did to me. And I don't know how many people I have or haven't told this story to, but this is about to get really serious. And if you watch this later as a vlog, this little story, you can comment whatever you want down in the comments. You can say whatever you want. Close to the end of my marriage, when my ex knew that I might be trying to leave him, he kept saying that he didn't trust me. He kept telling people that he did not trust me. I didn't have anything planned to do to him or harm him. My only plan was to leave and get a divorce. I did not even want a whole lot from him. Yes, my ex was wealthy. I lived in a big home, swimming pool, hot tub, expensive automobiles, fancy restaurants, vacations. We ate out several times a week. I had everything I ever wanted except happiness. Anyway, back to my story. My ex was telling me that he did not trust me. He told people in his family that he did not trust me. He thought I was trying to do something to him. I wasn't. I just wanted out. More and more, he kept telling them I was mentally unstable. I was mentally ill. I had been diagnosed with clinical depression. So now I was a pill popper, a dope head. I had a drug addiction. I I needed to see a psychiatrist. He didn't trust me. I never thought anything else of it. I just thought that he was mad because I was getting ready to leave, and I didn't know what he had up his sleeve next. It took me a really long time to realize that he planned this himself, and he did it himself. One time my ex planned to go to the races, kind of like NASCAR or something, with a friend. He hardly ever went out without me, and he hardly ever went anywhere and did anything with friends. But this was a Sunday, and he planned, or Saturday or a Sunday, and he went to a car race. And he made the comment he didn't have any cash, and he wasn't going to take any cash with him, which I thought was really odd. And he came back very, 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 very late and then said, well, the hot dogs and the Cokes and stuff were too expensive. My ex was a very wealthy man. And he said, I just drank water out of the bathroom faucet with my hands. Tasted kind of like race car fuel. I don't feel so good. This is nothing like my ex had ever said or done. And I told him, do you not realize how unsafe that was? You're at this big facility with race cars, and they're like fuel tanks and stuff, and you're drinking out of the bathroom faucet. Do you not realize how unsafe that was? And he said, oh, it's just water. I didn't drink anything else. I tried to tell him, you don't have to drink anything else. It's probably dirty tap water. So I said he didn't feel good, and he went to lay down on the couch. He woke up a little while later. His face was swollen. His hands were swollen. He didn't feel well, and he progressively started feeling worse. The next day, he said he felt even worse, and his hands began to swell. His eyes and face began to swell. He said that he had chest pains and trouble breathing, and he had me drive him to the hospital, which I did. They began to run tests on him, and they asked me where he'd been, what he had done, and I explained to them about going to the races. He told me that he went to the races with a friend from work. He claimed that the food and drinks were too expensive, and he drank tap water out of the restroom with his hands. It took me a long time to realize that probably never happened, and that he told them I was making it up. He, in the hospital, I was not allowed in the room after a while. He began to tell them that he thought I had poisoned him, and he didn't know what I used. He began to tell his family that he thought I had poisoned him. I had no intention of ever hurting him or poisoning him or anything. So over time, he began, in the beginning, telling people that I was crazy and I was unstable. He kept telling me I was crazy, I was unstable. He kept telling me that he did not trust me. I had a small child to take care of. I also worked a part-time job. I did not have time to even think about anything. And it wasn't long after this I took a full-time job because I needed to get out of there. After he started telling everyone he thought I had poisoned him, of course, my brother-in-law and his wife came outside and were telling me how serious it was. They were doing toxicology tests. They were testing his blood for poison. And I told them straight to their faces, I did nothing to him. He left. He was gone for hours and hours and hours. Told me he was at the car races and that he drank water out of the restroom tap. And I said, that's exactly what happened, and that's what he told me. So gaslighting can start out as words and end up in a much more sinister and dangerous place. Gaslighting is a form of control and make you feel trapped. It's a form of deception. It's a form of calculated phrases used to tear you down. A narcissist will gaslight you in public. Now, my ex never really did anything to me in public. He never really tore me down in public, but it happens to a lot of women. I'm sure women gaslight men. I have never seen a form of that, but when a narcissistic man gaslights a woman in public, he's a complete piece of crap. You should never tell a woman that she is lazy, useless, and stupid, and that she has no idea what she's talking about. You should never, ever humiliate someone you care about in public by doing this, whether it's a spouse, a sibling, a child, a friend, a neighbor, or if you work helping someone, you should never, ever talk to them in this manner. It is damaging and hurtful. And like I said, over time, it can cause the victim of gaslighting to start to always play the victim. And then you don't know what's real and what's not, because the victim starts to become so overly dramatic that it is. You don't know what to believe. And then they think that you're the one that's being crazy, and you're the one that's calling them crazy and nuts and insane. Well, no, it's the other way around. It is the spouse or the significant other that is calling them crazy or insane. That they're taking it out on someone who cares about them greatly. We can't continue to allow someone to gaslight us. We have to be strong in our minds and know that what they're doing is a dirty little game. It's a form of control and deception, deflection, to keep from having to be truthful and honest about their own deceptions in life, their own mistakes in life. Now, there are a couple of situations where it can be an accidental gaslighting, where they tell you they do not remember what they said and they might mean it. That they may say, I didn't say that. And then a few hours later, they remember, oh shit, I did say that. But they might not come back to you and admit it. It's unintentional gaslighting, but they should have gone back and apologized after they remembered what they actually said to you. Well, guys, this was just an early installment of Late Night with Lady. I think next week the series will be a little later in the evening, more closer to 10 o'clock. And I'm not sure what our topic will be because if you've known me for any amount of time, my blog topics, my live streams, the topic usually changes within the hour. You sometimes within 30 minutes of broadcast, I will change my topic. And that's how the lady rolls. For anyone who watches this as a vlog, I want to thank you so much for watching the very first trial installment of Late Night with Lady. This is a trial, a test run. And I missed having anybody to chat with. I did have a viewer and someone liked my live stream. But there was nobody in chat. I don't know if there was something with chat, wrong with chat, or if no one chose to chat with me. If you see this as a vlog and you came in and was live, if there was something wrong with the chat, let me know down in the comments. So next time I can turn off the live stream and turn it back on, which is what I did last week. I had to turn off the live stream, shut it down, and turn it back on because I couldn't see any of my live chatters. So yes, if there was something wrong with the chat, just let me know down in the comments and I will gladly fix it for next time. Guys, thank you for watching the first installment. If you watched it as a vlog and you liked any of the content, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this, and if you were a first-time viewer and you would like to see more content like this, subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell. And don't forget to click all or you will not see any of my vlogs, any of my live streams, any of my giveaways, or any of my motivational, inspirational, or uplifting blogs. So like I said, guys, I want to thank you if you watched this as a vlog. I did see viewers, but I could not see anything in the chat. So if anyone had problems with chat and it didn't work, let me know down in the comments. So next time I can end the live stream and go back in to fix the chat issues. Thank you guys so much for watching. And thank you for joining me for Late Night with Lady. And like I said, next weekend, I think I might do it a little bit later because it actually is to be a late night, kind of like a compilation of our late night radio talk show. That was my hope. Anyway, guys, once again, thank you for watching. If you liked any of this content, give it a thumbs up. It is only the first installment. It can only get better from here. If you have any topic ideas, you can put it down in the comments. I would love to hear your topic ideas for discussion. And as always, I love you and I will smell you later.